Alright guys, this is 8.6b. We're still working with finding imaginary solutions, but in this video I'm going to show you how to write the function or the equation of a function when given the solution. So we're going to kind of be working backwards. So before, what we were doing is finding the solutions, right? We had to factor it and solve for x in each factor. Here I'm going to give you the solutions and we're going to multiply them together. So we're going to FOIL to get the solutions. Some of them are going to be a little confusing, and we're also going to have imaginary numbers. So just remember that I is the square root of -1 and I squared is -1. This is pretty much all you're going to need for this. Also, I want to remind you about conjugates. So whenever we had an imaginary number, well, first of all, whenever you graph a function, right, you have two solutions always. One, two. If you have a, well, not always, right? If it happens here, you have one. But if you have a function that doesn't cross the x-axis, you still have solutions. You'll have two solutions, but they're imaginary. And so they always come in pairs. So one thing that you want to keep in mind is that if you have an imaginary solution and they only give you one, you need to make sure that you write the complex conjugate of it. So if one of your solutions is something like, 5 plus I, okay? If this is the one that's given, then you have to know that the other solution is 5 minus I. Okay, all you're going to do is just add another factor with a different sign in the middle. What else? So one way that we find the function, if you're given the solutions, is you have to write the factors. Now remember, you're always going to change the sign when you have a factor. So like when we were doing in the previous section, we were using synthetic division. If we had a -3 here, we knew that the actual factor was x plus 3. Okay, so that's what we're talking about when we have to switch the sign. What we were doing before is you were given a function and then you factored it. So the factors of x squared plus 6 minus 6 are x plus 3x minus 2. We set each factor equal to 0 and solved for it, and those are our solutions. So now we're going to be working backwards. I'm going to give you the solutions and we're going to go from here to that right there. It's not going to be a whole lot of work. Here's kind of the setup of what you're going to do. When you're given the solutions, you're going to put them into the factored form, and it's going to be x or whatever variable we're talking about minus whatever the solution is. I guess you can put this here as the factor, or you can put this as the solution, whatever you want. Just make sure that you use a parentheses because this negative is part of the factor here, and that's what's going to change the sign. All right, so let's just get into it. So write the function with the solutions -3 and 3. So we're going to put them in x minus -3 is going to be one of them, and the other one is going to be x minus a positive 3. Okay, simplify any double negatives that we have here. We have x plus 3 and x minus 3 here. So we found the factors. These are the factors. We have to FOIL, okay, to find the actual function. So remember, you FOIL this times that, so x times x is x squared, x times -3 is -3x, plus 3x, 3 times -3 is -9. Combine your like terms, x squared, those are going to cancel, minus 9. All right, so we have the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 9. Okay, so that's the actual function whose solution are -3 and 3. Okay, so we're just working backwards. These when you have regular numbers here, it's going to be pretty simple and straightforward. Where it's going to get confusing are where you have the complex numbers, and even then it's not too difficult. All right, so they're giving you 3 solutions here: 3, -2, and 4 plus I. That should be your red flag. Okay, if we have 4 plus I, we know that the complex conjugate is also 4 minus I. So this is another solution that you have to consider. Okay, you have to use this factor here. So you're going to have, or solution. So you're going to have 4 factors when we set it up. So the first one is going to be x minus 3. Second is x minus -2. The third one is x minus 4 plus I. Make sure you use parentheses, guys, because we're going to have to distribute that in a minute. And then the last one is x minus 4 minus I. So let's go ahead and simplify our negatives. We have x minus 3, x plus 2, x, distribute this negative, minus 4 minus I. This next one over here is x minus 4 plus I. Okay, distribute that negative there and there. Now we have to FOIL. So it's going to take a while to FOIL this, and you may want to use the box. That's what I'm going to use here. So here I'll FOIL this one the way we normally FOIL. Okay, so x times x is x squared. X times 2 is plus 2x, sorry. Here we have negative 3x and minus 6. Combine your like terms, x squared minus x minus 6 for the first one. So you can also FOIL this one. I'm going to use the box method because it's going to be a little bit cleaner. X minus 4 positive I. Okay, and then you set up your boxes here and then just fill them in. All right, so x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative xi. Negative 4x. Positive 16. Positive 4i. Here we have xi. Here we have negative 4i. And here we have negative I squared. Okay, and that's where that imaginary squared is going to come up. So don't forget about this over here. I'm going to just bring it down over here. X squared minus x minus 6 is the first one. And now you're going to combine your like terms here. So you want to kind of do them in a diagonal. So we have x squared is the only x squared term. Here I have the x terms. Negative 4x minus 4x is going to give you negative 8x. All right, so check it out. This is kind of funny. So we have a 16 here in the middle, and you cannot combine it with these two. So I'm going to bring down positive 16. Now we can combine negative xi and xi. Those are actually going to cancel out. Okay, we have a positive and a negative, so they're going to cancel out. The same thing's going to happen here. We have positive 4i and minus 4i. Those are going to cancel, so we don't have to worry about those. Then we're going to bring down this negative I squared. So there's our second factor, which can't be simplified. X squared minus x minus 6 doesn't change. X squared minus 8x. Okay, so now we know that I squared is equal to negative 1. So what we actually have here is negative 1 in there. So negative 1 is, we have our 16, and that's going to be plus 1. We can combine even further. X squared minus x minus 6. X squared minus 8x plus 17. Cool. Almost done. We have to FOIL one more time. All right, so you can use the box like I did up here, or you can FOIL it. I'm going to use the box because it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see how we multiply them. Okay, so we have x squared minus 8x, positive 17. Make your box. All right, so we have x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Negative x times x squared is negative x cubed. Negative 6x squared here. Negative 8x cubed. Positive 8x squared. Negative times a negative is going to give you a positive. 6 times 8 is 48 here, x. And then 17x squared. Here we have a negative, so we have negative 17x, and then 6 times 17, negative 6 times 17 is negative 102. Okay, so now we're going to go in our diagonals and combine like terms. I only have one x to the 4th, so it's going to come out. I'm going to write it over here, x to the 4th. Over here, I have x cubed and x cubed, only two of them, so negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9x cubed. Here, these are all x squared terms. So you have negative 6 plus 8 plus 17 is going to give you a positive 19x squared. We have our x terms, positive 48 minus 17 is going to give you a positive 31x. And then we have our constant here at the end, which is the only one, so minus 102. All right, wasn't that fun? Okay, so we're done. We now have the function f of x is equal to x to the fourth minus 9x cubed plus 19x squared plus 31x minus 102. That is the function whose solutions are 3, negative 2, and 4 plus I. All right, that's it for this video. Here is your practice problem down here. I'm not going to have any additional examples. We'll go over it a little bit in class, but I feel for the most part you should be okay with this. Write this down, have it ready for class tomorrow when I see you. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Have a good day.